Let's end this hour with a curtain call, your front row ticket to the hottest shows on Broadway and beyond. This morning, we're getting a look at Swept Away, a new Broadway musical about a shipwreck in the 1880s. The show finally had its big debut opening last night. While Broadway shows about boating disasters maybe aren't new, think Titanic the musical, this one's definitely grabbing headlines for its stranger-than-fiction storyline, its haunting music, and also these guys who are joining me now this morning, the musicians who didn't just write the songs, they were also the inspiration for the show, the Avett Brothers, Scott and Seth. Congratulations. I know you guys were probably up late last night with the big opening. This show is getting fantastic reviews, New York Times critics pick, so you must be incredibly excited about everything that's happening here.
We are very excited. This is amazing.
Let's start with how this started, because Scott, you were reading a book, like 20 years ago about this story, about the Mignonette, a yacht which capsized and the crew is, trapped for 19 days at sea. What was it about this that made you go, let's make an album about this story?
Well, we were young men in a van, traveling the country, trying to...
You're saying you could relate.
...share our songs, and we thought this van is a lot like a ship. And what struck us about the story, we would share what we were reading with each other. We had a lot of time to kill waiting for gigs, and we had a lot of time to share what we were reading. The aspect of truth in this story, what you do with the truth, and in the story Swept Away, you'll see how do you tell your story? How do you tell it authentically, sincerely, in the good and the bad of it? That struck us, and then we were feeling that, and we wanted to share that with the world.
So you told that story through an album. Then Seth, 10 years ago, you hear from a Broadway musical producer who says, let's maybe put this on Broadway. I mean, what did you think when you got that call?
Well, we thought, because I guess we had seen that record as we made it, we saw it in our minds. We saw the imagery of it, though, of course, we didn't have the resources to bring that to life in such a big, vivid fashion. But on one hand, we were surprised and excited, and on the other hand, we were just like, of course, this makes so much sense. And that was really just the first of many very natural steps where the pieces just came together and kept coming together and kept coming together, culminating in last night.
And you've learned Broadway is a process. It takes time to make all these things happen.
Man,
what has that experience been like for you guys?
Well, it has been a lot. I mean, it's been, like you said, 10 years. For us, we've been fortunate to be practiced in the letting go of, the holding loosely of our creations when we're making work, to allow for the community of the producers and directors, actors and writers in our world as well as this to do their best. And when we can let go of the ownership a little bit and share in it, in the community that's making it, it does take time, but the finished product is elevated.
Let's be clear. This is not an easy story to tell or to watch. You got 4 people who are trapped at sea and they have to make a choice. And I won't give too much more away than that. What are the things you hope people can take away from this story?
Oh, man, well, that's a big question. I think the story touches on a lot of very big topics, and I think each of the 4 main characters are very relatable. I think that each of us can see ourselves in each one, though drastically different they are. And I think there's something very beautiful in taking inventory through of your own life through a kind of a dark consideration.
The first time you saw it was with your wife. Was that in D.C.? Is that right?
It was, yeah, that's
What
correct.
was that like for you? And for her, what was her reaction?
I don't know. I know her reaction afterward was that I guess she watched me a lot of the time watching it, and she said she had never seen me smile like that. And for me, the entire 90-minute performance felt like it was just a few minutes. I felt like I was floating. It's a very odd experience to have this material that that I see as autobiographical, lyrical content of Scott and I, like our lives, to see the jigsaw puzzle of that taken apart and then put back together and to create a completely new image is what it felt like, But it was just surreal to put it in a word.
All right, so now you've got this. It's getting going here. Do you think you could do something Broadway related again, or are you gonna hold off for a little bit?
Well, this happened so sincere. This happened to us. We didn't set out to make a Broadway show. We've just been committed to our craft, which has been songwriting in this case, and I think other people came to join in on that because we relate, and we'll let whatever happens next.
Yeah, we certainly feel welcome now, which is incredible.
We have so many fans who are going to be introduced to Broadway and many Broadway people who are going to be introduced to you now. I love this story so much. The Avett Brothers, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on everything.
Thank you.
That is going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now.